Hello guys and welcome back to episode 19 of Rebuilding the Bridge. I'm Jake and today we're back with the first video in season 3. It will be the summer transfer window update, and let me tell you guys, we have had a massive summer transfer window. I feel like this is the one where we finally took this team up a level and are definitely building for something either big this season or in the season after. We're definitely getting the core of a brilliant Premier League title winning team here, in my opinion. So yeah, it will just be the transfers in this video. There will not be any games. The next video will be 2 matches. It will be the Tottenham game in the Premier League and the Athens game in the Champions League, which I'll tell you about in a second. I'll tell you about our fixtures and all that. But before we start, I just want to say thank you for the support I've had so far over the 2 seasons. It means a lot that people are still watching, whether you've been there since the start or whether you've just recently joined in. With these Football Manager channels, it's kind of the regular viewers that keep it going because, you know, no one really wants to join in to a 10 season long series at episode 17 or 20. They want to be there from the start. And obviously, this is the first time I'm making these kind of videos, so the start on my channel isn't as good because I was still getting used to it, and I'm still getting used to it now, still trying to improve and stuff. So to anyone who has watched and who has shown support at any point throughout this thing, I just want to say thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoy it going forward. And I'm really excited now to be going into the 3rd season. I'm still enjoying making these. I hope you enjoy watching them too. So without further ado, I suppose we should, before we get into our transfer business, we shall go into where we are in terms of our games that we've played so far. So I'll quickly go to the schedule. It was a weird one. We started off in the Club World Cup before our friendlies. Bear in mind, a lot of our players were on holiday or whatever, so we got knocked out of that by Boca Juniors. I wasn't too bothered. The board were a bit annoyed that we didn't win the Club World Cup, but usually I thought that took place halfway through the season, so I was very confused about that one. But, you know, it is what it is. Then our friendly games, I mean, we killed it. 15-0, 14-0, 20-0, 2-0 and 5-0. Bear in mind, the first 3 teams, I don't even know if they're professional sides. They're just fitness building sides where I guess the clubs arranged it knowing that we were going to just play them like we were playing a school kids football team and just build up our fitness. Then the Hamburg and Monaco games, 2 decent sides which we handled pretty well, and we took that into the start of the Premier League season too, winning 3-0, 2-0 against Brighton and Nottingham Forest respectively. Then we did have Liverpool on the 3rd game of the season, and once again we lost to Liverpool. It was a much better performance from us. I mean, you can see it here. We have players on pretty high ratings. For once, we actually showed a bit of passion. We battled it out against Liverpool, and once again, Liverpool scored in the last minute. I feel like they've, got a deal with the people who make Football Manager that they'll always win in the last minutes, because that's what seems to happen. And we still can't get around to beating Liverpool, but, it is what it is. We're only 4 games into the season. We've only conceded 2 goals, both in 1 match against Liverpool, where really it could have easily been a draw if Alexander-Arnold hadn't scored. So, I mean, we've had a very good start to the season. And looking at the games coming up, I would say these are all very winnable. I mean, Tottenham seems to be the obvious hard game. I'm hoping with the Champions League group, I'll quickly show it you. I'm hoping we'll qualify from this. We did come into it as the 2nd seed. But Leipzig, AC Milan, Athens, I think we should be comfortably top in this group, to be honest. It might sound a bit too optimistic right now, but I'm pretty confident of it. So as this is the summer transfer window video, we will be going through all the transfers that we did over the summer, all the talking points before we start the new season in terms of videos. Obviously, I've played a few games in the season so far, but that was just to get to the end of the transfer window because the first few games do overlap with the window, so I wanted the window to be closed so I knew who I should talk about. And then I'll show you the games that happened straight after the window, which, like I say, are the Tottenham and Athens game. Now, a key thing to recognise here is our original budget was 280 million. We still have 203 million left. Now, this doesn't mean that we only spent 80 million. It just means that we did make quite a lot of player sales. But in my opinion, this was the biggest window we've had so far. I think I've mentioned that already. But yeah, we just signed some proper quality for our team. And let's get into it. So the first player we're going to talk about is a player who isn't here yet. He does join in January. He is a Brazilian 17-year-old. Our first regen that we've bought, I believe. I may be wrong about that, but I think he's the first regen that we bought. He's from Chapecoense in Brazil, who obviously the famous team who suffered that tragic air crash. Now, we did spend £13 million on Russo, with potential of being £18 million should he meet a certain targets, like play for us however many times or whatever. But I think 30 million for a player who is dubbed as a promising midfielder, and according to our scouts, will hopefully be 4 stars to 5 stars in terms of potential. He should be a pretty good signing because even if he never makes it into our team, we'll sell him on for a profit. I mean, he's only 17, you can see it here. He's a deep line playmaker as a central midfielder, and he's got some very good stats, and he looks like a tidy little player to have going forward in our club. He'll probably be playing in the development teams for a while until he comes of age, and if he's ready to play in the first team, he will. If not, we'll loan him out. If not, we'll sell him on for a profit. It's a business decision which could help the team out in the future. It's one of them that's more focused on the finances than it is developing the team right now. So hopefully, this is a transfer that can't really go wrong, and I'm happy to bring him in, and he will be coming in at the end of the Brazilian season, which is the start of January. Now, onto the meaty transfers that we did. And as you can see here, we spent 210 million. Now, I have spoken about Joshua Zirkzee before. Dutch international, was at Bayern Munich, transfer listed for £10 million. He was worth 30 minimum. So if I was to sell him, I'd probably get like 50 million for him. Now, he's 3-star already. He comes into this as our third striker who will play in the cups and stuff. He's got some great stats already, like finishing and first touch. He's determined. He's got good potential. This was a no-loss transfer at £10 million. Even if he never makes it into our team, we'll sell him on for a profit. But as you can see, he's already playing for the Dutch national team and scoring. He's born in 2001, which makes him younger than me, which is weird to say, but he is a really good player for the future, and I'm happy to have him around as the third striker, providing a bit of competition and hopefully in a few years either making it here at Chelsea or again selling him on for a nice profit at £10 million. You couldn't go wrong with that deal. Now, we did also sign another new gen in Juan Martin Collazo from Boca Juniors, the team that knocked us out of the Club World Cup, for £7.5 million. He comes in now as our backup right back, as Azpilicueta did leave, and I'll get to the outgoings in a minute, but he's 2.5 stars, potential ability of 4-star, possibly 5-star, so he's looking like a really good prospect, probably not to overthrow Reece James, but just to back him up. He's already playing for the Argentinian national team, and he seems like a good player just to bring on in them games where Reece James is tired, and in the games I've used him so far over the season, he has looked very comfortable, valued at 23 million, we brought him for 7 million. He's only got a contract of 15 grand a week, and he is a very good player for us, I think, for how cheap we got him. A real steal. He's a solid right back. He's got no key things. He's not super fast or super good at crossing or a really good defender. He's just an all-round right back, and like I said, I don't expect him to be this world-class right back that dethrones Reece James. He's purely there to be his backup, and then in a few years we'll either sell him on, or if he's good enough, he'll stick around and be that player for years to come. And if he's already playing for the Argentinian national team, I've got no complaints there. So that is Juan Martin Collazo. That was £7.5 million. So as you can see there, that's only, £18 million, a bit more spent. And we've got some real quality, like, business decisions, if you want to call them that. But in terms of players that are actually improving our team, it's these two. And we'll go into the first one here. Ryan Gravenberch from Ajax, £65 million with potential to be £74 million should certain like bonuses apply, like game time and international appearances, goals, all that stuff. He's a midfielder, best role as an advanced playmaker, which we don't play in our system, but you know, with a player like him at 19, he's already got amazing stats, great potential, and I had him on one of the old football managers for Bayer Leverkusen, and he ended up going on to be the best midfielder in the world at PSG and Manchester United. And he, as you can see here, he's already played 4 games for the Dutch national team in midfield and scored 2 goals. He's a great player already. He comes in as one of our options, one of our 4 options in the midfield, alongside Jorginho, Kovacic and Mason Mount, and kind of Ruben Loftus-Cheek. So yeah, he's going to be playing there a fair bit this season. Develop him over time, and like I say, his role doesn't fit our team yet, but at his age, if we just develop him with enough game time, when he gets to 21, 22, if he really does like hit that potential, then we will just change the formation to fit him in because he will be that good. But right now, he'll just play in the deep line playmaker role when Kovacic isn't playing, and we'll just develop him and make him a great player. He's already worth £40 million, so we did overspend a little bit, but if we were to sell him, we'd easily make the money back because you often sell a player for more than its value. So I'm very happy with Ryan Gravenberch, and he is going to be a great player, not only in the future, but a great player for us now, and I'm really happy to start using him this season. Then our biggest transfer was Kai Havertz of Bayer Leverkusen. He is a world-class player for £75 million, potential to be 133 million because I just had to throw in a load of bonuses, else I would have had to pay. I think they wanted 110 straight up, so I threw in the bonuses hoping that he'll never actually reach some of them targets, but if he does, fair play to him because that means he has been a success here. He's already valued at £77 million. He is our star player. 4.5 star. He was rated by my scouts as 5 star, but you know, these kind of things, after a few games he'll go down, and a few games time he might go up. But you can just tell he is a quality player. Great ability, great potential ability. He's already an elite attacking midfielder at 22 years old. He comes in as our first choice central attacking midfielder, and if you look at his stats, his mentals are already there, and they're only going to improve as he gets older. His physicals are brilliant for a player who's 6'1", and like I say, they'll probably improve too. And his technicals, again, are at a really high level and will only improve as his career goes on. And he hasn't exactly hit any special height straight away, but I don't expect him to. I imagine he'll settle into the team, and over time he'll start adding the goals and the assists and becoming a real key player for us. His price tag does represent a risk for the club if he doesn't perform as we would expect, but I have a lot of faith that he will, and I'm really happy to get this German superstar as really our poster boy for Chelsea going forward. The biggest signing, like I say. And then on deadline day, we signed these 2 English youngsters, one from Celtic, one from Birmingham. Jude Bellingham, who we've been scouting for a while, for 30 million. He joined from Birmingham on deadline day. Like I say, he is now on loan to Norwich. I loaned him out as I bought him because he wasn't going to get near our team yet, and he needs first team football. He is one of the hottest prospects in real life world football right now, and he looks like a great player on the game too. If he doesn't reach his potential, which is pretty high, 3.5 star, 4 star kind of area, if he doesn't hit that, then we'll probably still sell him on for a profit because he's an English player who will be getting Premier League football at Norwich now. And yeah, just really happy to have him at the club, and kind of a business decision, kind of potential player to come into our team in a few years. But he spent last year on loan, already had a full season at Birmingham in the Premier League at 17, played pretty much every single game. They did get relegated, so we got him for a bit cheaper than was expected. But yeah, he might not make it here. I'm very wary of that. He might not make it as a Chelsea player, but in terms on the business front, we will sell him on for a profit, guaranteed. So he goes on loan to Norwich, hopefully develop over the season and come back next season, and we'll see what we want to do with him then. So yeah, that's Jude Bellingham. And then the other player we signed on deadline day was Karamuku Dembele, who is a right winger from Celtic. He was, how much was it? 22 million, potential to be 29 million if he hits certain targets, and he's already valued at roughly that. We loaned him out to Bournemouth straight after, who are also in the Premier League. He's going to get more game time there. We've already got too many wingers, really. So he's a wonder kid, left foot, on the right side. I like that kind of player, like a player that can come in on the inside and curl a shot in, and he looks very good already. Only 18 years old, playing for the England under-21s. Never bad to have a young English international on your team because, well, you can just sell him on for a profit either way. And he does look like he's going to be a very good player. So same as Bellingham, we loan him out. Hopefully he does well. He comes back soon and we'll see what to do with him. I had the money to spend and I figured why not bring in some of these young players who will help me hit my board target of buying players to sell them for a profit. So these guys join. Maybe they'll make it, maybe they won't, but they look like great prospects to have around the club. Now, like I said earlier, Joshua Zirkzee came in as now our third choice striker behind Erling Haaland and Timo Werner. I almost forgot then. It was Timo Werner. So we have 3 ex-Bundesliga strikers as our 3 strikers now, which meant that one of them had to go, and that was Tammy Abraham. No one was really willing to pay what I wanted for him. And there still could be a future here for Tammy Abraham, so I've loaned him out to Aston Villa in the Premier League. He's going to get a year of Premier League football. He's already doing brilliantly. 5 appearances, 4 goals, 1 assist. And it just shows that if we were to sell him, someone's going to get a really good Premier League striker on their hands, should I say. But I just couldn't afford having him, Werner and Haaland around. It was a tough choice on who to get rid of, but we chose Tammy Abraham because he's a great finisher, Tammy, and a good physical presence in the air, but that kind of doesn't really suit how we play. Plus, if you are looking for a pacey finisher who's good in the air, Haaland does that and probably a bit better. So we kept Haaland, we kept Werner for the option of he has pace, and we kept Zirkzee in the fact that he's not going to want too much game time and can easily be that third striker. But Tammy needs first team football. He's 23. he's going to really start pushing his career forward now. And I think he'll do that well at Aston Villa on loan. We'll assess him when he comes back next season, but I fully think he'll have a 20-goal season at Aston Villa, and I'm really happy for him that he will get that. In terms of other key outgoings, we have Marcus Alonso to Sheffield United for £17 million. Ian Maatson last season proved that he could very well be our backup left back to Emerson. So Alonso, there was no point keeping him around for his wages, and Sheffield were the only club to actually offer to pay all of his wages. So you know what? Sheffield can have him. £17 million. Alonso was good for us while he was here. Didn't really feature for me much, so I was happy to get rid of him for a decent fee. And if you think about the sale of Marcus Alonso, allowed us to bring in both Xerxes and Juan Martin Collazo. So good business, I would say. Then our club captain, Cesar Azpilicueta, he mentioned last season wanting a challenge because obviously he wasn't getting too much game time here. That is why we brought in Juan Martin Collazo. We did need a backup right back to Reece James because Azpilicueta is left for PSG. Fair play to him. He'll get a nice big paycheck as he finishes his career. And I have nothing bad to say about Azpilicueta. He's brilliant for us, and he's been brilliant for Chelsea for so many years now. If he wanted to leave, we had to respect his decision. £30 million, which paid for, I suppose, Bellingham. So, you know, it's a cycle. We bring in money, we spend it. I'm not going to go out spending the £280 million budget on one or two players. I want to keep this club actually running in a profitable way. So Azpilicueta does leave. Fair play to him, and I hope he has a great career finishing at PSG. Bekir Omeragic, who was our backup fourth choice centre-back, I want to say, last season. Ethan Ampadu comes back and takes that role after his great season at West Ham, as he is already ready for Premier League football. So I offered Bekir Omeragic out on loan, and Schalke, who are a good team in the Bundesliga, snapped him up, and as you can see, he's their key player. He's been brilliant for them. He's going to be playing pretty much all, just unless he gets an injury, he'll be playing all their games this season, and that'll be really good for his development. Dion Sterling, now as we have Juan Martin Collazo, does go out on loan to Swansea, looking to rebuild his career after that poor season at Burnley where he didn't really get paid. But as you can see, he is their key player, so hopefully he can really develop well at Swansea and come back pushing for a place at right back for us. Zeballos, there was no real room for him, so he goes out on loan to Basel. I mean, I don't think he's ever going to make it here at 19, but we signed him for 7 million. He's already worth 23. If we were to sell him for a bit less than that, we'd still be making a profit. So Zeballos goes out on loan, looking to improve, and he's determined. I'm sure he'll do well. And then hopefully maybe we'll sell him on for profit, because I don't see a future from here. He does go out on loan. Miles Pert Harris is the biggest prospect to come from our academy for a few years now, and I mean, you can see here potential to be 5-star. He is on loan at QPR, I believe, yeah, so I'm hoping he has a good season there and develops well. Other than that, who have we got? Ross Barkley went to Arsenal for 53 million, with Kai Havertz coming in and Ruben Loftus-Cheek having such a good season in attacking midfield last year, and Mason Mount as a possible option in attacking midfield if we didn't want to use him in the centre. Ross Barkley, there was no real place for him. I offered him out. Arsenal were willing to pay 50-odd million for him, a bit under his market value, but Ross Barkley didn't have a best season for his last season. I mean, I'm going to check his stats now and it will say he was great. Yeah, here you go, 6.93, 3 goals and 20-odd appearances. It's not the best from Ross in an attacking position, so he does leave the club for a nice little sum, which kind of almost pays for Gravenberg. So, again, we're keeping the money flowing nicely. What do we got? Leonard Stergiu has gone to Osasuna on loan as one of their key players in the first division in Spain. And hopefully I don't think he's going to make it here, to be honest. I'm just hoping he kicks on, develops a bit more. Maybe we'll sell him for a profit in a few years. It doesn't always work out with players, but, you know, you can always make a bit of cash in on them. So he does go on there. Timo Bakayoko has gone to Southampton for 16 million, potential to be £20 million. Again, a player that we weren't using, who was taking up a lot of the wages. He does go to Southampton, and it's no real loss to us. I was a bit surprised, though. He did have a good season at Arsenal. I thought they would try and buy him. I mean, if you look here, 7.22 rating over the season for Arsenal, and they decided not to pick him up. So they've obviously got different plans in mind. But, you know, Chelsea make a loss on Bakayoko, but we would have made even more if I'd kept him around. So we got the money in for him. I believe his contract was also running out, so he does go. And then the other key sale was N'Golo Kante, 60 million to Tottenham now. It hurts to say that he plays for Tottenham, but for us, Kante was a player who he wasn't going to get in our side anymore. He had a very bad season last season, and as good of a player as he is, and as good as a player as he has been for us, he just isn't going to feature for me. And I'd rather cash in now than have him get upset. And he was on £300,000 a week, which is crazy money. So we are still paying some of his wages at Tottenham. But Tottenham offered £60 million for him. That pretty much paid for Havertz. So, you know, N'Golo Conte, it's sad to see him go, and especially sad to see him go to Tottenham, like I say. But it kind of had to be done, else we would have just been wasting them away and eventually selling them for like 20 million. So 60 million to Tottenham, and N'Golo Kante does leave. And that, other than a few little random sales here and there, pretty much sums up our transfer business, and it makes our squad look like this going forward. We have Azpilicueta in goal. That would be a big decision from me there, wouldn't it? Arrizabalaga in goal, with Emerson, Upamecano, Tomori and James in defence, which is still the same defence and goalkeepers that we've had for... This will be the second season running now, with Upamecano joining last season. So there might be a bit of change there going forward, but that is probably the positions where there wasn't that much on the market that could improve us, even though we're not the best in defence. So we will see how that situation develops over the course of the season. But midfield, I'm really happy with Kovacic, Mason Mount, Sancho, Havertz and Hudson-Odoi. We've got 2 academy prospects in there, 2 academy products, should I say, a star player in Kai Havertz, an English sensation in Jadon Sancho, and Kovacic as a 4.5-star central midfielder. So that is a real quality midfield with Erling Haaland up front as a brilliant, brilliant player. Probably one of the best strikers in the world. And then Ryan Gravenberch, and I think it's, where is he? Jorginho, yeah, are the other 2 options in midfield. In the forward line, our options are Ruben Loftus-Cheek as a replacement for Havertz. Then Pedri and... who is our other winger? There he is, Christian Pulisic, who's still in international duty with United States. So that's our winger situation. I've talked about our strikers. And then our defensive subs are Maatsen, Juan Martin Collazo, Christensen, who did try and force a move, but I wasn't going to let him have it, not for the value people were trying to pay for him, and Ethan Ampadu. And that makes our team, guys. So I will be bringing it back. The next episode will be the Tottenham and the Athens game. So yeah, that's the transfers. I think we've got a very good team going forward, and I'm really excited to see what these guys can all do for us. And we'll see how the season goes. Hopefully put up a bit more of a challenge for the title, maybe even win it. And we need to win some silverware, else I will get sacked. The board were very clear on that. So we'll see how this season develops. I hope you enjoy watching, and I hope you continue watching. Just thank you for any support you've given me, and if you did enjoy the video, feel free to hit the like button, comment if you want to get involved down below, and subscribe for more content like this. And I'll see you in the next one, guys. Goodbye.